Miss Rosie, you are up next. I'm making you a co-host right now, so if you need to share anything, you can. You should. Whoops, you should be able to do that. Let me put you on here, and I'll be setting an alarm too if you need me to keep an eye out on the what do you call it? On the timing. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Rosie. On the whatever. I'm already sleepy. All right, my dear, take it away.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm Rosie Batista, and greetings from New Jersey. So I teach self-love utensils and spiritual essentials for helping you remember who you truly are. So my segment today is the joys of journaling. So this is one of the best self-love tools that are available to us. It's free. You can do it anywhere at any time. And there's so many options and there's no wrong way. So that's really cool. So who here in the chat, tell me in the chat box, who here has a consistent journaling practice that they do right now? See how many yeses we could get.
Yeah, I think you can, if we're on the chat box, you can actually click a little yes button if you open up your chat box, everybody, or you can type in the word yes, and then a little yes will appear, a little check mark will appear next to your name. So
yes from Mitchie. How about you, Dina? Do you journal?
I do journal.
Really? Yes. And
journaling right now while we're talking. Yeah.
Awesome. 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 In the works? Okay, cool. All right. So no matter where you are, this is Caitlin's wishing she could be consistent. Yeah. And it's like one of those things. It's just like the food and the workout and all of those things, right? So you find what works for you and you find the thing you love. And that's what I'm going to show you today. So my intention, again, is to get you fired up, to journal about everything and anything. And I'm going to leave time for questions and conversation at the end. And also I'm going to be raffling off one of my guided journals that's called The Naked Truth. So, and just an FYI, if you're out of the US, you'll get a digital copy because of shipping, but otherwise you'll get this in the mail. So Dina's going to assist me with that raffle at the end. All right. And Michael's trying to journal. So, all right, that's good. I mean, that's at least a step in the right direction, right? At least you're thinking about it. So, all right. So I'm going to be telling you the benefits of journaling, the types of journaling, and then we're going to dig in and do some journaling ourselves. So you're going to need paper and pen in a couple of minutes. All right. So or your journal if you want. So why do I love journaling? So I'm going to say that I credit my journaling practice as the thing that saved and changed my life. So my journal was my best friend, my therapist, a loving ear, a place to question, a place to find answers, a place to play, a place to vent. And I actually have boxes of old journals, I hate to admit this, in storage. I mean, when I went to get my Christmas stuff, I see all these boxes. I'm like, oh my God, I need to get rid of these things. But when I opened them, they brought back such, I worked through so many trials and tribulations in there that I said, oh, I could actually put this together into a book that would actually help people. So, it's just one of those things. I'll have to decide what I'm going to do. But I don't want you to trust me in believing about the powers of journaling. There's many famous people that journaled. Thomas Edison, Charles Darwin, Albert Einstein, Leonardo da Vinci. So it's super powerful. So if you want to look up the science behind it, there's something that happens when you take your pen in your hand. But I like to say that my arm with the pen in my hand becomes an extension of my heart. So I'm really just letting it all flow through me, right? So who here wants to have clearer thinking? I know everybody does. Everybody wants that. So journaling gives you that, but it also enhances your productivity. As the first girl spoke about this morning even, right? Fires up your creativity, lowers your stress, improves your sleep quality. I mean, all good, healthy things that we want, right? Journal acts as an inspirational, it's a motivational tool. It calms you down, it lights you up. It's all those things. It helps you to know yourself, which we have a lot of resistance around. It helps us dig deep, dive in, but it's a safe place for us to figure out those things that we might never tell anyone else, or we might not really take the time to just kind of think about. So after hearing all the things, and you probably heard them before, why journaling is good, I'm interested in finding out why we would resist something that's so good for us. So if you want to put that in the chat box, let me know. But I can tell you that when I'm coaching my clients, and I always recommend journaling, they'll be like, oh, no, 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 I can't do that. And one of the reasons they say is they're afraid of it. They'll be discovered, or someone will find out what they wrote down, right? So I realized that one of the things for me was I was even afraid to discover what I was really holding back inside myself. So there's that little bit of fear, that little bit of resistance that we might have, right? And I would kind of judge, and I would critique my thoughts before I even put them on the paper. So I was, again, holding myself back from even discovering more about me, right? So we don't want to do that. So that's actually the only rule that I'm going to tell you. The only rule of journaling is do not hold back and just let it flow out. So where do you journal? Is there like a right place to journal? So I will tell you that you can journal in a 99-cent spiral notebook. That's fine. You can journal in an expensive hardcover journal with really fine paper. You can pick up a pretty journal with jewels. You can do, there's all kinds of guided journals. Or you can do, someone gave me this little gratitude journal with my initials on it in pearls. So you kind of get the point. You can journal anywhere you want, even on loose paper, anywhere. You can do it on loose paper if you're afraid of someone finding it, rip it up and burn it. But the point is you've already got it out of you, right? So again, choose anywhere that makes you feel good and whatever works for you. So I've come up with, there's multiple ways to journal. So we can definitely journal for no reason, right? Or we can journal by category, by situation, and by time of day. So I'm going to show you a few of the powerful ways that I like to journal. And as I go through them, just jot down which ones sound fun for you and do some experimenting and see where it goes. Because when we journal for a specific reason to find out a specific thing, it kind of gets us, we're pointed in the direction of the thing, right? So you want a practice and a ritual that you show up to, and one that you're actually going to do. One that you're not going to say, oh my God, I have to journal. We don't want to do anything that makes us say, oh my God, I don't want to do it, right? So you want to make a ritual practice, one that feels like fun. So if anything I say right now feels fun, jot it down and see how you can use some of the techniques we just learned and put that into your program, your system, calendar it in, however you're going to do it. All right, so number 1, sacred soul journaling. So this takes place in like the wee hours of the morning, like sacred time. While everything is still, you get up, you might even just sit in the dark, light a candle, you're not really fully awake, right? So this is the time when your ego hasn't kicked in to start having a conversation with what you're doing all wrong, right? So this is where you get that really raw goodness and that deep stuff. It's one of my favorite ways to clean stuff up. So I had this practice for a few months where I'd wake up 3:30 in the morning, 3:34, get up, I'd have a spot all set up with my candles, my journal, and I would go sit and I would just write whatever came to mind. Then I would go back to sleep. And when I woke up, guys, I was totally shocked at what actually came out. I'm like, did I actually write that? Because I was writing without any kind of judgment or preconceived notions. And it really was what flowed through me. It was, very sacred downloads, divine downloads, information that I wouldn't have gotten if I was distracted and looking all around and, questioning and all that. So it's just a really divine time. If you can do it, even if you set yourself a month or two to do that, you will be amazed at what actually unfolds for you. So that's number 1, sacred soul journaling. Okay, and then we have number 2, wake up journaling. So this is when you wake up, you're not really fully awake yet, you haven't really gotten out of bed, you're not fully distracted, so it's where many great ideas get born. So I have a journal I have a lot of journals, but the one sitting by my bed that I just grabbed, and most of the time it'll be something like this that's easy just to open, and I can actually lay in bed and write kind of like in a marker, like I almost don't have to move out of the bed, and I just let stuff flow. I might even ask myself, I might just have a question that I'm asking, but this is where things can come out without resistance. You don't have to think about anything, just like let whatever's in your head just come out, right? It's a great opportunity here to let your creativity grow. All right, let your ideas flow and your creativity really grows. So that might be a practice that's easy, just even 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is. And you'll be amazed again over time. Again, consistency is always the key to any change, right? So that's where we have to pick the one that we're willing to step into and do. All right, so that's number 2, wake up journaling. So number 3, we have good night dumping. All right, this one's important because who here goes to sleep and has a million things on your mind and then you're like, oh shoot, Tina's ready. I have to get out of bed and write down, oh, I'm gonna forget in the morning, and then we're thinking about it all night, we're not sleeping. So I love this one because, and you can do more than one too as well, but keeping a journal by the side of your bed and then just dump everything, like unclog yourself so you can sleep well, right? With nice thoughts floating around in your head. So before you're retiring for the night, you just do this little night dump of all the things on your mind and all the things you're worried about doing the next day, because then they're there and you don't have to take them to sleep with you, right? So right there in your journal, out of your head so you can rest. All right, so that's number 3, good night dumping. Number 4, and you've definitely heard of this one, and we take this one a little too much for granted. This is super powerful, and if this is all you did, it would change your life. So they say that like the only prayer you ever have to have is a thank you, right? So this is a gratitude journal. And I've noticed that the more aware I am and the more that I take note of all the good that's in my life, the more grateful I become and the happier I am, right? And especially now with so much stuff going on, it's really good to write down so we have evidence, right, of what actually is so good in our lives and what we're grateful for. So you can do 10 things in the morning before you start the day. You can do 10 things at the end of the day, whichever you want. But sometimes I'm like, oh well, I just say them in my head. It's not the same. It is not the same. You need to write it down. So honestly, instead of a to-do list, do a gratitude list, because your whole perception then changes and then you can get a lot more stuff done. So it's super powerful. So that's number 4, that's your gratitude journal. Number 5 is a question answer journal. So when you have a question, something that's bothering you and you need an answer, you can get it from your journal. So I write a question at the top of the page, and then obviously in silence, I close my eyes and I write whatever comes out. So I kind of ask, I give up the question and I just allow it to kind of speak to me, right? This is the way you can speak to your guides, to your source energy, to God, right? And then trust that the answer is going to flow to you onto that paper. And it always does. So the question could be, what do I need to know today? That's a question I like to ask. It's pretty much my go-to question. Or, how can I be more loving today? And that could be in any way, right? So whatever your question is, write it down and just boom, right? Whatever comes out. And that, again, you'll be really amazed when you trust the process and allow, right? And the last one is a specific category journal. So category journals are super fun. And again, a great way to discover more about yourself. So what do you want to compile all in one place? What do you want to notice? What do you want to explore? What do you want to create? Category journals are perfect for the thing that you want to focus on. So imagine a creative journal, an idea journal, an inner child journal, a nature journal, your life journey journal, a sketchbook journal, a prayer journal, a dream journal, a travel journal, right? Anything specific to what you want to just explore more of. So I'm going to show you something that I made just to kind of inspire your creativity. And I did this in this beautiful book that I just bought this. I had bought this book. Like all right, another secret. I kind of buy books. Who else does that? I collect like journals. I could like live in like a book, a bookstore or Staples even. So I had this, and it inspired me one day to write what I kind of call, it's kind of like a kid's storybook, but I started to think about myself and really my struggles and where I wound up and how it all kind of came together, and to be grateful for my journey and my struggles, for the gift that it brought me in the present. So it really just starts with once upon a time there was a girl, and she was lost and looking. So I'm going to make sure that you guys can see. And then it just really goes on. And I'm not going to take you through the whole thing, but she looked everywhere to find it, in the refrigerator, in stores, in men. So you see, you can kind of be really creative in unhealthy relationships. So you're curious to see what happened? In food, and she blamed everyone. So I went through my story and really came out the other end, right? But it allows me to see, and I really enjoy looking at it now to say, wow, you know, those were things that I struggled with, but they brought me to where I am. So it's a beautiful, you know, these dedicated category specific journals are a really wonderful way to get it all out. All right, so who's ready to dig into something, to pick one of these things to put into their life? Give me a yes in the chat box. All right, so yes. Okay, cool. Juanita's yes, Caitlin's yes, Dina's yes. All right, awesome. All right, so let's play. All right, so Meredith's a yes, Daisy yes, love it. Susan's a yes. Okay, so let's get out our paper, pens, and let's get going. So just like kind of take a deep breath, take in all that stuff, let it out, get comfy. One of the things, you know, you can like get yourself centered. I have these little bells, these little chimes that kind of just center you in. All right. So what I'm doing, I'm taking a few questions from the self-love journal that I'm raffling off to share with you, okay? So number one, we're gonna let this one go I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to write about this question, okay? So, everybody ready? All right. List 10 things that you love about your body. Okay, 2 minutes. Take a deep breath. That's not that easy, right? Unfortunately, it's not that easy. Yeah. Awesome. All right. We're going to go on to journal question number 2. And we're going to take 60 seconds to complete the first part of it. So 60 seconds, complete the sentence, I wish. Okay. So just to finish up on that, I wish, we're going to take another 60 seconds. What would have to happen in order for this wish to come true? What would have to change? All right. Okay. So we're going to go on to the next one. And you guys, you can go back and you can, as we're doing that, I filled in some more on my list of 10 things I love about my body. So you can go back and you can do that. So this next question is kind of fitting for, we've been through an exercise, we've been through learning about why diets don't work, talked a little about weight loss and all that. All right, so this next question, this is a deep one, so we can go a little deeper, right? So this is not going to be mailed to anyone, so don't have to worry. This is just for you. So it's safe to dump here, right? What you've been carrying around on your shoulders and weighing you down for far too long. But here's the question, right? I want you to think about losing the weight of unsaid, unresolved, unproductive issues. So here's the question. Is there something you need to say to someone? Is there something you need to say to someone? Okay. All right, guys. So you can see how this can really just lead you to the next step, to the next step, to the next step, right? So I have so many more questions here, but we're kind of, we're running out of time. Whoever gets wins this book, the questions are all in here. So Dina, I would love to shuffle up and see?
Did it. I did it already. So we have 36 people online. I did a random generator number, and our winner is Kit, K-I-T-T. Kit is our winner. So congratulations, Kit.
Congratulations, Kit. So somehow they need to, if they send you the address, you send to me, I need your email address, or you can send it directly to me, however you want it to.
Yeah, I actually know Kit, so I can put her in touch with you and she'll email you directly.
Perfect.
And let me just double check on here. And you know, Rosie, I actually wanted to say, this is, you're right. The body thing, I was like, okay, I'll just start with like eyes and my mouth and I'll go through all these things. And then I kind of stopped at 6 and I was like, I don't have anything else to say. It was so much easier for me to start saying negative things about myself, of like, you know, I stopped and I was like, well, my stomach gives me problems sometimes. All right, well, stop talking about my stomach. And then the wish for things to happen, I felt like it was an external wish that I had. Like, I'm not in control of the wish that I want to have happen. So in order for it to happen, I know my mom's listening. Shit's got to change. So sorry, Mom. I just swore on here. So I feel like shit has to change, but I'm not necessarily in control of it. But am I? Like, if I can talk and I can outwardly continue educating, then maybe I can make a difference in some way that stuff does change in that respect. So thank you for getting the juices flowing in there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You don't have to. The question doesn't have to be that deep, but you'll just keep going and digging. It's just like a game of digging, and that's where the jewels are. You know, dig. Where the jewels are. So I wanted to also just to show everyone what I was offering today. You can put it in the chat box, or I'll put it in the chat box, or you're sending it out later, whatever. But there's a link that there's a special price for. I have 2 journal card deck sets, so they're on a special price for you guys, and Dina will give you the link. And also, I have a free. This is a success journaling guidebook. So it really is simple daily practices for creating a business you love, and all kinds of business questions, so that you actually run your business or create your business the way you want it, and not how everyone tells you it should be run, because then then you're not going to be happy there either. So it's all about self-reflection. Colleen has a great question. How did you get yourself to commit to the journaling? I mean, Colleen, it was one of those things that I was so desperate. It really was, you know, it helped me out of an eating disorder. Like, it helped me out through, like, it helped me get clear on so many issues. My divorce, like when I felt there was no one, I did not know where to turn. That was my thing where I turned to. So it really was out of desperation. But as I started to see, oh my God, this actually is so powerful, that then, you know, when something really is working and you see how powerful it is, then you kind of, you know, when you see the changes, then you make the commitment more. It's like even with weight loss, as soon as you see the things, it's that we start a little and we don't see anything yet, but as we keep going. So so just, you know the benefits that are going to come from it, like that something awesome will happen for you. Or even already now, you know, thinking that, wow, why can't I say 10 things I love about my body? I need to work on that, right? We need to work on that, because we should be able to say that. Like the fact that our body is healthy, and I started to write things like that. I'm healthy, I'm strong, which are great, but it's not specifically my body. So it was a little cheap, but so.
Yeah, and Rosie, I wanted to chime in for a sec, because what Andrea said in the first session about, and I love this term, the non-negotiables, like what are things that are important to you that you'll make happen regularly? So whether it's brushing your teeth or journaling or going for a run, I think we all are in tune with different things. So I really liked the process that you have us, even though it's a tiny little amount of time right now, that we have it recorded so we can use your guidance. In the post-event email, we'll have all the information for all of the experts and your links to the swag bag stuff. So thank you so much for everything that you shared with us today.
It was so fun. Wow, 11:15, it's perfect.
I cannot believe.
You are like a rock star. You got this working out.
I try. I was gonna say, I also want to put on the splash page here of your name and everything, just to make sure that we have you on screen in case anybody wants to follow you on Instagram and YouTube. You have so many fun things that you do. So thank you, Rosie.
Thank you.
Rosie.
Yeah, go ahead, Juanita.
When you ask the question, is there something you need to say to someone? because I can't say it to that person, I'm releasing it in my journal. Is that the purpose?
Yeah, and one of the things you can do is make it a letter. Dear so-and-so,
okay.
Put that all out, you know, and then rip it up.
Okay.
Burn it in a celebration where you're giving that you're no longer going to carry that with you.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
You're welcome.